Okay. Okay. We're not gambling now. What are we gonna do? Who are you?
You better hang up that YouTube video, boy, because I want to see if Mpreg is real.
This Halloween,
That was last week, you doofus.
I want to introduce you one of my favorite co-op games of this year. The Outlast Trials, made by Red Barrels, is a co-op survival horror game where you are all human test subjects tested within hellish chemicals, chased by crazed characters, and learning to love darkness. What's better? But first, you may be asking, who are you? Where'd you come from? And why is that guy looking at me like, oh my god, what, does he look like that? But first, turn off the lights. I gotta start from the beginning. Outlast 1 was a monumental success. You know Outlast, I know Outlast, and if you don't, it's running away from scary people in a mental asylum that you've been doing experiments on. So, a lot of memorable faces, a lot of gore, and so on and so forth. Every YouTuber played this game under the sun when it came back in the day, and now it's remembered more for nostalgia, if anything. I'll also passively mention Whistleblower here, and how it's fantastic and almost eclipses the whole game from how good it is. Play it if you love horror. It's the Bioshock to Minerva's Den, if you know what that is. But then, there was Outlast 2, and Red Barrels threw us a curveball. This is undoubtedly a game. It's not bad, but it's not Outlast 1. There is something to this game that is smart, but I'm still confused by it. But in general, if you want my one-sentence review, it's fun with some flaws. One day I am going to make an actual video on it just because it does deserve its analytical lens, but right now, just hold up on it, especially after it's been 10 years. Maybe we'll wait until next Halloween to review it. But then, at Gamescom 2020, the first teaser finally dropped for the Outlast Trials, the next installment in the series. The game wanted to stride apart from its contemporaries by creating a co-op horror experience where you were placed under the looming threat of the early Cold War as sleeper agents during an MK Ultra set of experiments that slowly conditioned you. The game was then released in 2023 for an early access window with a slew of trials and constant updates. And now, after a 1.0 release, many new trials, new bad guys, and more mayhem entered the game, this is still a very updated game, and now what I feel is the pinnacle of everything that it's been leading up to. So, what's this game about? Well, let's take a look at one of the most important aspects of this game, the sleep room. Your hub of the game. After having a not-so-nice awakening and having night vision drilled into your brain, you wake up in a personal room within the sleep room. Here, you can customize your room, your look, and genetic makeup. But afterwards, there's a multitude of things to do within this hub. There's prescription, rigs, smuggler's items that can help you through the trials, but besides that, there's places to sit, have chess, arm wrestle, pong, and even the Stroop test. And I'm not going to show it because you can imagine your insides turning into outsides where you're going through the later stages of these fun mini-games. Besides that, I love how this is a hub for you and your friends to just mess around in and socialize with the other reagents, which are, indeed, real people. And even though there is no voice chat within this lobby, thank goodness, it could have been a lot worse, it's a place to socialize and see the cool fits that people have to dress up in. But, onto the upgrades. I can't go over all of them in detail, but I want to give you a general overview for how they work and how you get used to using them. Your prescriptions are your permanent level ups that include useful things like extra inventory space, increased stamina, sliding, and more. As you progress through the game, you'll find every chance you get to get all three tiers, which get more useful as you progress. Next are the rigs. These are essentially your reusable resource to help you get through certain trials easier or have an upper hand within certain obstacles. All of them are stun, hack, barricade, x-ray, landmine, and heal. It's important to note that all of these also do have their own upgrade tree like the prescriptions, and it can be as simple as reduced cooldown or having a unique specialization like refilling your battery or giving you adrenaline. Personally, I favor the stun rig because I like to get myself into sticky situations often, but the runners-up has to go to the hack for just how useful it can be when fully upgraded over the course of multiple tests. And I think the best part about this is that there is never a wrong option, just a playstyle. Personally, my friend uses barricade all the time, and while I do joke that it is kinda useless, it has gotten us out of very sticky situations before where there was an X-pop drilling down a door and we had to hide, which means that they forgot about us. And lastly, there's the Shadowy Dame. She has 3 tiers of boosters that you can help fine-tune your specializations to your character, from better bandages to more stunning bricks to even self-revives. There are 9 within each category, and there's a ton of experimentation that you can do to help comp to different strengths and weaknesses of your loadout, but they do unlock over the course of 50 levels, so you will be earning this the slowest. And that's it. Overall, I love this hub. It's filled with friendly faces, great upgrades, and different characters that you'll be interacting with, but not walking around most of the time because of its accessibility and cramped nature. In most other games where there is a hub, it feels like there's not enough to do or it's too open for me to really care. A good example is probably the round table hold from Elden Ring, just because everything is in this old, unique corner, and you really have to run to it every time, and it feels like a slog. There are definitely some exceptions to this, but I feel that this one hits the right stride between atmosphere, accessibility, and of course, the cramped nature of your confinement. But now, we have to pick a trial, because we are Reagents. Keeping with my tradition of not overanalyzing a game if you are getting into it, I want to at least pick one trial that highlights all the strengths of this game. We'll still talk about aspects that might appear over other trials, but if we're going in order, we're going to do the docks first, to meet a special character. Also, fair warning. I usually don't like to do this, but there is a lot of body horror, gore, and flashing lights within this game. If you can't take this or there's something wrong with it, I advise you stop the video and you get off here. Like I said, this is a great game, but if you cannot handle what I'm going to be putting in editing, you probably want to stop here. But if you like insides turning into outsides, let's continue. After being given your daily Makima gift, yes, that one, you are told that you are going to the docks and having to start making narcotics in order to stuff them for delivery. And by the time you arrive, welcome to the docks, where the water is filled with salt, homeless people are beating on bodies to find some semblance of copper wiring, and the docks are just so filled with hidden chaos. So, slightly better Detroit. But to put into perspective, each major map introduced within the Outlast Trials are made to be tested in. They're all fake. There are suburbs, police stations, small cities, and even theme parks to distort the idea of Cold War America during the 1960s. Additionally, because they are wanting to make us become a sleeper agent, there is always some semblance of warping to show how much you think that the decay of the idea of the white picket fence dream has really occurred. Mannequins' voices are flat, almost laughable dialogue. The tasks that we do are always grotesque in nature, but hidden within the shadows, and the constant observance of cardboard props and wooden structures really give the idea that this is not where we're supposed to be. It's an aesthetic that never takes center stage in horror to be reminded of the fake reality, but I find it interesting that it's done so well here. The key difference is that this and the previous Outlast games is the time shift. As much as I hate to make this comparison, it's like comparing digital horror to analog horror. Digital horror was Outlast 1 and 2, dealing with modern equipment, while analog horror could be bringing out the more grotesque and hidden side of the American dream within the Outlast Trials. But anyways, enough gawking about the setting, we're here to have an objective to reach, so now's the time to talk about movement. If you were expecting some blood-pumping, button-mashing combo system like you're playing Tekken, then no. You are playing as a useless, homeless nobody, skirting the lines between life and death, which makes you hide and run. Sneaking in this game is still pretty standard, just crouch, hide behind things, and don't get caught out in the open. However, the enemies in this game are still just as smart as they were back in Outlast 1 or 2. They check hiding spots, have routes, and even have aggression system based if they saw you or not. And while you can't defend yourself with items, which I will go over in a bit, your best friend is still the darkness. The coolest part about this game, in my opinion, is how dark areas are utilized so you can sneak around in order to not use sound to trigger any enemies when walking or running. And besides two of them, none of them can see you in the dark, even the main bad guys. Meaning that if you run into a dark room, it will be more easier to hide and take some refuge than running out in the open trying to find a way to defend yourself. But this means you will be using night vision. Yes, the night vision that was attached to your cranium still actually works, but it does chew through batteries pretty fast. It's now Outlast 1 or 2 with the use of AA batteries, which somehow was even worse compared to the big batteries you get in this game, but you can still find enough batteries around to keep you going. But sneaking through the train yard and getting to the control tower to move up the train, you come across the star of the show.
Guys, use a dream. What's that fucking racket? The fuck are you crying about?
Wait a fucking minute. Is that a rat? Did they actually let a 3-foot-tall rat onto my turf?
Me? I'm a mouse.
Oh, and it can talk? I swear to God, I would rather be put in the same trial with that pig cop. Ah, well, no matter. My precious Lupara will correct that. You're dead, rat! You're fucking dead!
Every killer needs its shining moment, and while the recurring characters within the first and second games were great, the main threats that you'll find within the Trials are top tier killers to be sure. To name all of them, first we have Mother Gooseberry, a woman with a power Jill hysterical by her father's death from the show that she once played on television, but now is hysterical to anyone she comes across. Leland Coyle, a brutal police officer with a supercharged stun stick that prioritizes maintaining law and order with its own twisted sense of sexual pleasure. The Crest Twins, mutated twins born at the beginning of the millennium, gifted with science and politics, but wield a giant handsaw and evil concoctions to slice through anybody they come across to defend the American homestead. And of course, as you saw, Franco Barbie, notorious gangster and depraved killer. With his precious Lupara, anything in his sights is possible for him to dispatch. Each of these are called prime assets. The head researcher determines that each of these psychopaths has a large amount of charisma, or riz, to shape the reagents and other groups of people to do whatever they want for them. In a sense, they are the apex predators at the top of the chain because of their skills. For lore, it's a super cool way to dive into what made these people break, or how Murkoff broke them. But from a gameplay standpoint outside, it's genius. To come back each major update to find a major killer being added, and have the lore to dive into it, really shows their commitment to making new enemies within a genre that could be deprived of them. Anyways, after Franco called me a rat, which I'm still a mouse, man, we head over to the drug making part of the docks and have a go to push a cart to find product. But now, it's time to talk more about the level design. Hooray! Within one room, there's always a set of random factors that could be adding hiding spots, items, and prime asset-based traps that can appear depending on your difficulty. What's important are the hiding spots because you have to have an idea of where you're going through the map through different sections, because you will be returning to them at certain points. So, if you run around like a chicken with its head cut off, you'll die very quickly, even on standard or maybe even introductory. So, going through each room, just make sure you have mental notes or even ping items that might be useful now or later. So, keeping a mental note of them or pinging them for your teammates or yourself is a very good move to do. But making my way through the docks, I do reach a point where I find Franco. But that's not the important part. What is important is talking about the unique puzzles that are added within each trial. I'm going to be confident in saying that each main MK Trials has a unique challenge or mechanic to it that will be the grounds for other B-side trials. So, for the docks, welcome to the Symbol Cracker. To get back each bag of flour back to the cart, you have to find symbols and decode them with the provided decoder. While each code is 3 digits and you could possibly solve it, finding the symbols that are dotted in yellow all across the train yard would provide useful. However, the symbols aren't complete unless you line them up with a different perspective. Of course, at first, this is easy because it's teaching you how to use the mechanic, and of course there's pop-up hints to do it. But once you get let out into a larger area with Franco and many other lesser enemies to roam, yeah, these guys are called X-Pops by the way. Some are unique, but they are just generic crazy. This goes into my second main praise for the Outlast Trials and how it actually does incorporate gameplay into its loop. Much too often, I feel like we're still on the idea of walking simulators being the grounds for many horror games. Dear Esther, Layers of Fear, etc. And perhaps maybe Outlast 1 and 2 with their simplistic gameplay loop did provide some of this alleviation, but Outlast Trials is still focused within gameplay, which means even if not all the puzzles are sometimes fun to solve, it still does provide some gameplay loop in order to feed back into itself. That means that this game is not trying to waste its potential on trying to be something that it isn't, but what it is that it is a good puzzle-oriented co-op horror game, with some blood and guts thrown here and there. Well, I got the goods, so it's time to make cookies back in production. And of course, the last thing I have to praise Red Barrels before we go on to the ending section is the looming dread that happens within this game even after replaying it so many trials before. Now, this isn't giving credit to the jump scares that will happen through unique events such as gas mines or characters finding you and throwing you out of hiding spots, because those in horror games is like putting chocolate chips in a chocolate chip cookie. You aren't unique for using them. But if I'm walking through a dark area for the 100th time and I hear some footsteps that I've never heard before, or I step on some glass to make some noise, it still does tense me up because I am giving my position away and I feel immersed within its world. Of course, Red Barrel still alleviates this because of methods like bricks, bottles, and other stun rigs to provide defense, but it's only temporary. They stun, they do not kill. You are not playing as Leon Kennedy or any of the other badasses from those horror games because you are nobody. And your role as the player within this environment is truly life or death. It's not always pumping action like other multiplayer horror games, but it does have an identity that comes with the previously discussed aspects like setting and character. And even as updates have rolled out and changed some things, it still retains that core gameplay identity, which is massive within the games that have tried to do it before. Perhaps at some point, if I do make a video dissecting game analysis and game direction, I would like to put Outlast Trials within this list, because generally speaking, Red Barrels have been the most consistent with the Outlast Trials in any of their history of making games, and they do deserve praise for actually keeping to it in a sea of many other lookalikes. But hey, look, I got a bunch of those tiny bags of flour, and now I need to get to the bottom of the ship to deliver the goods. Hopefully this will be easy. I mean, I know that he has a gun. It's not that scary. Holy fucking shit! Please, 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 please. No, wait. Please, please, please. How many more do I have to do? And of course, that's just one trial. The reason why Outlast Trials works so well is, like I said, its replayable nature. From a story perspective, the Reagent is constantly being fed through these trials again and again to become the perfect sleeper agent. At a moment's notice, their actions will be executed without question and without feeling, no emotion. But from a player's perspective, and the variety of weekly challenges and getting through trials to complete modifiers with a coveted A+ ranking and getting more upgrades, this just feeds into the perfect gameplay loop. Many times, I feel that co-op games lose their luster because they simply run out of steam. I don't want to point at any individual games for the fear of starting drama, but Outlast Trials may have many moving parts combined with its strengths of previous games to determine a breath of fresh air within the genre. While many games are pushing for a fixed objective to be repeated over and over again, Red Barrels does bring back the visceral feeling of running for your life with a distorted vision of the American dream within your useless body. But with that, the Outlast Trials review is finished. It's a wonderful game if you're into single-player horror or multiplayer ones to looking for your next itch. And in addition, the game is crossplay compatible, so you and your console peeps can hop on any game and you can actually take advantage of it. And while it is not on sale, the game is an absolute steal for its price, and I cannot recommend it enough. I know that saying these games are better with friends is like saying pissing in the same urinal is more fun with friends, but with a game like this, it can cater to both audiences as well. With that, hey, I heard this place has some great soup, so I'm gonna get myself a bowl. Thank you for waiting for this specific review to come out. I know I usually joke about the subscribing and the whole hello neighbor thing, but this time, if you actually do care to do it, please hit that subscribe and like, because it does mean the world to me that people are actually watching these. Next week, I get to go headfirst into the track of racing game that my friend recommended to me, so hopefully there's some fun action there. But until then, happy late Halloween, and I hope that you enjoy the upcoming November. Please, stay classy, stay awesome, and remember to survive the trials. Take care!
Jesus Christ, a talking rat. Sure, I'd be a giant fucking talking bunny too.